Fridays English. Yes, I did that. Sundays
Oh yeah, Cadbury fruits and olives. Good for the heart. That's good. Okay, good. Great job. Of course. Okay, so that's good.
And their gym is nicer too. The exercising part, yeah, much nicer. There's a few things that, if you get your money's worth, yeah, you do get it.
You have a mic.
Oh, Mike, I have a mic. I feel special.
Fortunately, we can't test it.
Oh, that's okay.
We just hope that it's showing up on the stream. So. And you can start whenever you want. You want me to start you off?
Whatever you think. You think we should wait a little bit? Do you want to tell people we're waiting, or is this live streaming right now? Is this live streaming right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Hopefully. That's the goal.
Are you still planning to stand?
For part of it, for most of it, yeah.
Wait, you're gonna stand?
Uh,
I don't see her.
well, because I want to.
If you want to stand, we'll adjust.
I mean, for the beginning part, I'm gonna sit. For the first two slides, I'm gonna sit.
I thought, is this supposed to be slanted?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, just double checking.
Yeah. Then it should even out.
Oh, it's
This
not
is
supposed to be like this crooked. That's what you're saying?
No, this. Oh, maybe. No, it's supposed to be crooked.
Oh, okay. That's what I'm trying to say. Is it supposed to be
The
like
next
that?
the next slide is square.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's artistic. It is.
Oh, hospital.
Yeah.
It's a little behind, like 30 seconds.
We're good?
The video caught you.
Are we on Facebook officially?
Right. Yes. Hi.
Nice. Hello. All right. Shall we? Shall?
Okay, let's take our seats. Workshop that we have scheduled.
Yes.
Thank you all for coming. Thank you for being attentive. Thank you for attending all the workshops. As normal, I'm going to be announcing it. All the workshops will be saved online. You can go onto the app. You can download our app, Pasadena Armenian Church in Nazarene. Download the app. You can get all of them there. We're also live streaming at the same time, so you can just follow along at home if you're at home. But the idea here is that we have invited experts in their field to be able to share from their any ideas that are relevant to what we can get. So, of course, Dr. Kholopian.
Thank you. Oh, wow. Very well said.
No connection other than being my brother-in-law, so I'm honored that he's here. But we're very thankful that you've been able to make it and be able to share with us. I think our goal is to answer questions that may be that we're having, but let's listen. We'll have question and answer time afterwards as well, and we'll follow that up after at 7 o'clock with our English service. So you're more than welcome to stick around for that as well, but you don't have to either. There's no obligation. So feel free to participate as much as you'd like. And Dr. Kholopian.
Thank you so much. Thank you. To the people over here, I'm going to be a little bit slanted this way. I apologize. All right, everybody's settled. Good. So I hear we're on Facebook too. Hello. So I'm going to sit down for the first few slides, and then I'm going to stand because, based on my talk, you shouldn't sit too much. You'll see. So I'm a cardiologist, so I feel like my opinion should be valid here. We're talking about the heart. I've studied the heart for a decade almost now. And so I'm going to go through what I think is practical things about the heart in our day-to-day lives, okay? Hopefully this will be helpful for everybody. All right, so it's called Medical Myths. Let's talk heart to heart. All right. So here are the objectives. I want you to be able to answer these questions, okay? 1, should I take low-dose aspirin, also known as baby aspirin, or 81 milligrams of aspirin, to prevent a heart attack or stroke? Is exercise good for my heart?
No.
If so, how much? No, you're right. It may not be. It may not be. If I eat healthy, will I avoid heart disease? If I have coronary artery disease, can I reverse it? No? Is cold water immersion, the polar plunge, beneficial for my cardiovascular system? Now we see this on TikTok, people doing this. Are all these vitamins and supplements good for my heart? K2, hawthorn, pomegranate, CoQ10, garlic. I'm asked this question all the time when patients come to me. Is coffee bad for my heart? I'm drinking coffee right now. So, should I buy a wearable device to monitor my heart health?
No.
All right. So, I'm going to start with a chalk talk. Okay? So, please look at the board here. Hope everybody can see. All right. So, I'm going to draw you a blood vessel. Oops. Unfortunately, it's not drawing. Why is it not drawing? There we go. All right. Here is a blood vessel. Okay? And this is a blood vessel of the heart, let's say, okay? And blood is supposed to go in through here. Okay? It needs to stay open for blood to get through to get to the heart muscle. Now, what is atherosclerosis? Atherosclerosis is when you have a buildup of this stuff here that causes a little bit of a blockage in the blood vessel. Okay? We don't like that, right? We want smooth flow. Now, the problem is that the reason why this is so concerning is once this breaks open, it can block the entire blood vessel. You get a heart attack. That's a heart attack. Okay? This stuff here is made up of L, D, L, okay? Which is bad cholesterol, plus free radicals, okay? Oxidants. Have you guys heard people say, take antioxidant, right? This is why. Because the combination of free radicals and the LDL in this area, well, when they're going through your blood, if they combine together, they get sticky and they stick onto your blood vessels, okay? And that can form atherosclerotic plaque, which is this stuff here. The other parts of this plaque can also include things like white blood cells. You know what white blood cells are? They're used to fight infections, right? So whenever there's any evidence of inflammation, in your blood vessel, white blood cells go there. So this is the stuff that causes you to have a heart attack. Okay? What do heart attacks do? They kill people, right? Top 3 killers is heart disease. So we want to be able to prevent this, right? All right. So this leads to the question of, should I take low-dose aspirin to prevent a heart attack or stroke? Because aspirin thins your blood, okay? And it makes the platelets in your blood less sticky. It makes your blood less sticky. So we say take aspirin to prevent the heart attack or stroke. Okay. So I've given you the answer to this question. Okay, I'm going to stand now. So if you have coronary artery disease or a stroke, meaning if you have a blockage, whether it's small or big, in your heart blood vessels, it's recommended to take aspirin. Okay? If you've had a stroke, it's recommended to take aspirin. But I put this asterisk here, okay? Why did I put that? I put that because I wanted to define to you what it means to have a coronary artery disease event, for which reason you should be on aspirin. If you have chest pain from what I just drew, okay, that little blockage, if you have chest pain and that blockage, that means you should be on aspirin. If you have had a heart attack, you should be on aspirin. If you've had a stent in your heart, you should be on aspirin, okay? And the reason why is the following. There have been multiple studies on this, okay? And they're good studies. I've read through them, so please, you can trust me. The number needed to treat, okay, what does that mean? If I gave 67 people aspirin, I'm going to save one life. Isn't that pretty good? I give 61 people 81 milligrams of aspirin, I'm going to save one person's life. If I give 100 people aspirin in this demographic, I'm going to cause a GI bleed. They're going to bleed from their intestines. So if you compare the risk of saving someone's life from having a heart attack compared to the bleeding risk, the benefit outweighs the risk, right? So you should take an aspirin. Okay. When should you not take an aspirin? If you do not have a CAD event defined by this, or a stroke, forget about it. You don't need aspirin. However, I will give you some caveats. Particularly if you're 70 years old, this is very well studied. If you're 70 years old, who's 70 years old or more? You look younger than 70. If you're 70 years old or older, there's this really good study that showed that taking aspirin will increase your risk of bleeding more than it will prevent a heart attack or a stroke. Okay? If you have a risk of bleeding in your intestine, if you have ulcers in your stomach, then it may favor that you should not take aspirin. Definitely favors you don't take aspirin if you have not had a CAD event or a stroke. Here's a group that could benefit from 40 to 69-year-olds. Who's between the age of 40 and 69? Okay, some people here, right? So, if you have a high risk of having a heart attack or a stroke based on some calculations that your doctor makes, then it could be beneficial to be on aspirin. Okay? That's the only group, this group and this group, who've had a coronary artery disease event and a stroke. Aspirin is good for you. Okay? Otherwise, don't need to take it. If you need to take it for something else, that's fine, but I'm just talking about the heart. Okay. So that answers that question. What about the question about exercise? I did a lot of research on this to help you guys out here. We have a marathon runner here, okay? So I'm gonna tell her marathon runner, is it okay to run marathons or is it not good for you? All right? So, I took a reference from Clint Eastwood's movie, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. I know some people might know of this. So there's the good, the bad, and the ugly of exercise. I'm going to tell you about the good first. You live longer, okay? If you exercise, you live longer. Why? Here's a beautiful graph, right? Doctors, we're supposed to talk about graphs, right? This is what we're supposed to do. So here's a graph. Now, this is a graph of different studies, okay? These are all the studies that this graph includes, okay? They looked at people from 1995, these studies, all the way to 2007, I believe. That says 2006, but it's all the way to 2007. And these studies all looked at if people exercise, what happens to their life over the course of 10 years, okay? And what they found was, and what they concluded, the more hours of moderate to vigorous intensity exercise you do per week, the less likelihood it is for you to die. Okay? So this is the percentage of death, and this is the number of hours of exercise per week. So this dotted line here represents a point at which, you have a significant drop in your death rate. And after this, there's not that much more of a survival if you exercise more. So this study said, if you exercise for 2.5 hours a week, not a day, a week, at moderate to vigorous intensity. What is moderate to vigorous intensity? They define moderate to vigorous intensity here as exercise that's equal to walking 1 to 2 flights of stairs. If you walk 1 to 2 flights of stairs, that tiredness that you feel, that's how much these guys are exercising for 2.5 hours during a week. Okay? So I'm gonna put this into practical terms too. Okay, so this study said 2.5 hours. It's good for you. You live longer. Who doesn't want to live longer, right? This is Clint Eastwood running. Okay? Again, we're talking about the good of exercise. This is a very good study. It's a randomized control trial. If anybody knows anything about studies, the randomized control trial study is the best study you could do. Okay? If it shows something that's beneficial, you usually follow it because that means that it's predictive. So this was a randomized control study. And they studied hundreds of people. And they put them into 4 different groups. They put them into the group of, exercise a lot. Okay, a lot. What was a lot? 20 miles, okay, per week. 20 miles per week, not per day, per week, okay, of jogging. Wow. Jogging, 20 miles per week, okay? That's their high, okay? Not that crazy. Low amount, but high intensity. That's defined as you do jogging for 12 miles a week, okay? 12 miles a week. Low amount, moderate intensity exercise. You walk, okay? You walk for 12 miles, okay? Walk. And the control group was no exercise at all. 4 groups. You with me? They followed them for I think it was 8 weeks or so. And what they found was they looked at different things. HDL. Do you know what HDL is? HDL is good cholesterol, right? So they looked at, hey, what happens to people's good cholesterol after these people exercise for a few weeks? They found that, so if you go up, the HDL goes up. If you go down on this graph, the HDL goes down. So they found that yes, that's exactly what happened. So control group, the people who don't exercise at all, HDL came down. That's not good, right? Because HDL is good. It's the good cholesterol. The people who exercised a lot, right? HDL, good cholesterol, went up. Okay? Same with these other people. Why is HDL good? But do you know why HDL is good? Why is HDL good? Why is good cholesterol good? Do you guys know? You know why? It sucks out. It literally sucks out the bad cholesterol and you poop it. That's oatmeal, almond, these things, high HDL, high fiber, things like that. Okay, we have some here to eat. If you eat that stuff, it's supposed to literally take out the bad cholesterol out of your body. That's why we call it good cholesterol. Okay? And so what about the bad cholesterol, the LDL? What happened to that? If you exercise more, the LDL goes down. The bad cholesterol goes down. If you don't exercise, the control group, it goes up. But the good thing here is that even a low amount of exercise, it prevents the LDL from going up too much. Okay? It doesn't make it go down, but at least it doesn't go up too much, right? So, is exercise good for you?
Yes.
Yes. Why?
You live longer.
You live longer. Your cholesterol gets better. Why else? Fat. You guys know what fat is? Fat. Okay? This is a cat. So Brittany reads these every day and is probably tired of reading them. And I'm not going to make her read this. But this yellow stuff here is fat around your organs in your body. Okay? This is less fat. Okay? This is called visceral fat. Viscera means organs. This is fat around your organs. This is just a different animation of what I'm showing you here. This study, the same study that I'm talking about, the exercise people. You exercise a lot, this fat goes down. You exercise not at all, this fat is more. More fat is not good. Because this fat, it actually correlates with your risk of having heart attacks. Okay? Visceral fat. So, exercise is good. How much exercise? So far 2.5. So far. All right, this study, the graph that I showed you said 2.5 hours, right? 2.5 hours is 150 minutes a week, okay? These studies, 20 miles a week of jogging. I did some math here, okay? Jogging takes 12 minutes per mile. So if you jog 20 miles a week, it will take you 20 times 12, 240 minutes. So if you exercise for 240 minutes a week, then at a jogging pace, then that does all these good things. But wait a minute, that's more than the 150 minutes. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, whoa, now we're back to 150 minutes. What about this group in the middle, right? The ones who jogged, but only for 12 miles a week, not 20 miles a week. 150 minutes per week of jogging pace, okay? That kind of correlates with this 150 minutes. These studies have nothing to do with each other, but that's amazing. They're finding the same thing. 150 minutes of exercise, and you live longer, and all this stuff is better. What about these people who, exercise, but they were at a walking pace? Walking, okay? Walking for 150 minutes per week. They also showed that it's better to at least walk 150 minutes a week than do nothing. That's why I'm standing. I'm not sitting. Okay? So even if you do this, exercise at a moderate intensity, or if you jog for 240 minutes a week, or if you exercise, you jog for 150 minutes a week, or if you walk for 150 minutes a week, it's all good. It's all good. You do that, it's all good. Okay. This is what the American Heart Association recommends. 150 minutes. Why? Why? I just told you. I just went through 10 hours of research in 2 slides to tell you why you should exercise 150 minutes. Because I think it's that important. Okay? You live longer, and everything else gets better for your heart. Okay? No, at the end. All right. Because the reason why is because I might answer your question. How many steps? Remember, everybody says 10,000 steps a day, right? You hear that?
Yeah.
You heard that? Okay. Is that true or false? Is that true or false? False.
Yeah.
It's false. It's false. Why? 8,000 steps. I say 8,000 steps. Who's with me?
I am.
All right. Why do I say 8,000 steps? This chart has people aged, the top one is more than 65 years old, the middle one is 50 to 64, and the bottom one is 40 to 49 years old. And this is based on a survey. It's not a randomized control trial. It's based on a survey of Americans over age 40. And they said, hey, when you wear a pedometer and you walk, you take steps, how many steps do you take? And then they followed them for 10 years. And they wanted to see how long they live. If you walk 8,000 steps a day, this is your mortality, your risk of death. It goes down. It goes down a lot. Look how far it goes down. After 8,000 steps, you have some benefit, but not as much benefit. So I'd say you do 8,000 steps, that's good enough for me.
Would it be like 3 miles or so? 8,000 steps?
So 2,100 steps is about a mile. Okay? Times that by 4, so that's about 4 miles. 4 miles, you walk 4 miles a day, and you live longer. Okay? You live longer. You walk 4 miles a day, you live longer. It's amazing. Okay, what about this? Cardiovascular disease. Amazing. 8,000 steps. I don't make this up. They all correlate. 8,000 steps for reducing the death from heart attacks, from heart disease. What about cancer? 8,000 steps. Reduce the risk of cancer. Death. All right? Forget the 10,000 steps. 8,000 steps is good enough. Some also say 6,000 steps is good enough, and you can see why. Because 6,000 steps is right here. Right? And that's still pretty good. So even if you do 6,000 steps, I'm happy. Okay? If you're my patient, you walk 6,000 steps a day, I'm happy. Okay? All right. Who's a weekend warrior? Brittany, you a weekend warrior? You have a kid. You must be, right? Weekend warrior? Anybody? Any weekend warriors? What's a weekend warrior? Weekend warrior is I don't have time during the week. I work. Weekend, I'm off. I exercise. Okay? What about these people? The data suggests that weekend warriors do have a significant benefit in cardiovascular and all-cause mortality benefit compared to those who don't exercise. But the definition of what a weekend warrior is kind of all over the place. You know? I don't know what a weekend warrior really means, but you exercise during the weekend. This is for Brittany. Brittany, I put this for you. Okay? Who runs marathons? What is this slideshow? The ugly. Marathons may not be good for you. Exercise-induced right ventricular dilation and fibrosis. Okay? Who's this? This is Phidippides. Jonathan, you like history. This guy in 500 BC was a part of the Greek army in Athens. Okay? And he was known to be their runner, their scout. You need to give a message, you go, you run, you go tell people things. Okay? Now, I don't know if this story is real, but I'm going to tell it to you for 10 seconds. The Persians were fighting the Greeks. The Greeks were outnumbered. This guy was told to go run to the Spartans and say, hey, we need more help. Help us out. He ran miles and miles, okay? Like 72 miles. He told the Spartans, we need your help. Then he came back to the Athenians. Wow, they won the war. Athens beat the Persians despite not having the Spartans' help. And then they told this guy, go run again and tell our people in Athens that we won the war. Where was the war? Brittany, where was the war? Marathon. The war was in Marathon. This is why we call it a marathon. He ran how many miles? How many miles is a marathon? He ran, reportedly, 26.2 miles to go from Marathon to Athens and tell his people they won the war. In Athens, he collapses and dies. The ugly. Okay? He died. He died. This is why we think he died. I'm going to show you why. Okay? You follow my numbers here. Okay? I have to come over here. I'm sorry, Facebook people. Okay, so what happens here? You train for a marathon. Your heart needs, unfortunately this is not coming out well, but your heart needs more blood when you exercise a lot because it needs to deliver more oxygen. So your heart gets bigger. Particularly the right side of your heart gets bigger, okay? The right side of your heart gets bigger because you need more oxygen and you get more blood to deliver the oxygen. You have increase in catecholamines, which are the flight or fight, the sympathetic nerve. And all of that leads to these effects on the heart that are bad. It makes the heart scar. It makes the heart bigger. Okay? Brittany, you're okay. Don't worry. Look at this picture. This is a guy with a heart. Okay? And in the heart, if you zoom into the heart muscle, you see this. This is a heart muscle. Okay? And in the heart muscle are these little enzymes here. Okay? They're called troponins. Who've heard of troponins? So when you run a marathon, you check people's blood. These are troponins leak out. They leak out. Why do they leak out? Because you're running so hard, your heart is just so tired and so stressed, it's damaged. Your heart gets damaged. And it leaks out these troponins. Okay? And so this has been shown in multiple studies, randomized control, good studies, okay? This is what happens. The good news is, though, and this is just showing you what happens to the heart muscle when troponins leak out. It's from damage of the heart. And this is what I showed you of what happens when you train for a marathon. This is, when you train for a marathon, your heart muscle gets thicker. And your right ventricle, this is the right side, gets larger, okay? And your left ventricle gets thicker, okay? However, don't worry, Brittany, ugly, not so much, not so much. If you're a healthy amateur athlete and you're trying to run a marathon, you're training for a marathon, you will not have long-lasting effects on your heart. These are only in elite athletes. This happens in elite athletes, okay? Huh? You're not an elite athlete. So, Brittany, don't worry about it. Train for the marathon. However, I have to say this as a cardiologist. If you have any concerning symptoms, or I would just recommend, if you have any concern at all, go to a cardiologist before running a marathon and at least get an EKG, At least get an EKG. And then talk to them, get your blood pressure, things like that, and figure out how healthy you are. Are you healthy enough to run or train for a marathon? Okay? So despite this evidence of a heart injury, okay, it's okay if you're an amateur athlete like this. This is Brittany, this is you. So a competitive athlete, elite athlete, is defined by someone who plays in an organized sport and requires some form of systematic and intense training. Okay? Those are the people who have the heart issues. And it doesn't mean that you shouldn't do that. I'm just telling you what happens to your heart. Okay. The bad. I actually wrote this. So if you notice, every time I have a slide, I have an article related to it because this is all evidence-based medicine. Okay? None of these, I'm not just talking out of my pocket. Okay? So I didn't do this particular study, but I did a study on atrial fibrillation and physical activity. Okay? Do you know what atrial fibrillation is? Atrial fibrillation is an arrhythmia in your heart. Yeah, it's a trembling of the top of the heart. Okay. If you look at this study that was done, not by me again, but by another group, if you're sedentary, okay, that's your comparison group, you're here. If you do moderate level of exercise and you're a male, red, you have a less chance of having AFib. Okay? If you're a male and you have intense exercise, semigamo, then you can increase the risk of AFib.
Really?
Intense exercise. Okay? I'll define intense exercise for you. If you're a woman, forget about it. Don't worry. Moderate or intense exercise, women, less AFib. Okay? So exercise as much as you want, your AFib risk goes down. Okay? So intense exercise can increase your risk of AFib in males, not in females. Moderate exercise is beneficial in both males and females. Samigammo, moderate exercise. 4 hours a week of walking, cycling, light physical work, such as walking a lot, including stairs, carrying light objects. This is such a weird, vague definition of moderate exercise. So, I don't know. Maybe what you do at the gym is intense compared to these guys, what they're doing. But here's another thing. I found another way of trying to figure out what's intense. I went to the American... This is a group of cardiologists who met together and they tried to figure out how to define physical activity, moderate activity, things like that. So the green, okay, is low level of activity. Your oxygen in your heart is low. It doesn't need that much oxygen for that level of activity. And this is how hard, this area is how hard your heart has to pump. This is how much oxygen your heart needs. So this is your heart pumping, right? So how hard is your heart pumping with the exercise? And how much oxygen does it need? Okay? Golf, low. Baseball, low to moderate. American football, I put this up for Paul. American football or running, like sprinting on a treadmill or something, that's moderate. Okay, so you're okay, I think, right? Moderate, probably moderate. Okay. So intense. So swimming, okay, is a bit more intense. And if you're Forrest Gump and you're running a marathon, that's very, very intense, okay? So just kind of think of this as your low, moderate, and a little bit more moderate to intense and very intense of exercise, okay? Good. Everybody with me? We're going to talk about the diet now. This is a segue to next month. DASH diet. I'm not talking about Kim Kardashian here, okay? If I eat healthy, will I avoid heart disease? The answer is yes. Many studies have shown that the DASH diet, dietary approaches to stop hypertension, this is the DASH diet, is good for you. What is the DASH diet? I put it here in a picture for you, okay? Fresh fruits and vegetables, 4 to 5 servings of each per day. Low-fat dairy. So if you go to the milk section, you get the low-fat, not the whole milk. No lepni. Lepni is high-fat. Okay? Forget lepni. Throw lepni away. Take lepni, throw it away. Wait a minute. The only lepni that I recommend is the Jewish one. Yeah. Their fat is much less, 50% less. Yeah. Go to Beverly Hills, get your lepni. All right, so eat your tabule, okay? Tabulen, love it. Get. Salade, get. Badura, get. Fruits, vegetables, 4 to 5 servings of each, and I'll define that for you. Hummus, eat it, okay? Legumes. Hummus is a legume. She said, legume, okay? Chickpeas. So you need some of those, okay? Pistachios. Who likes pistachios? Eat it. Eat pistachios. Who likes almonds? Eat almonds. So 1 handful of almonds, 1 handful of pistachios a day, okay?
Don't take the bag and sit on your lap.
No, none of that. However, it says 4 to 5 servings. Each hand is a serving of nuts. Okay? Lepni, forget about it.
I don't see that.
Okay? All right, this is just a pictograph of things. Huh? By the way, sweets, a little bit's okay. A little bit. Okay? Kishme künefe, bejibni, it's okay. All right? Huh? A little bit.
What about walnut, pecan?
Okay, good questions. I know I said no questions, but I'm going to answer that question because it's a good question. Walnuts, okay, I'm going to give you the rundown, okay? I'm going to give you the rundown. Walnuts, fantastic. Okay? Almonds, fantastic. Pistachios, fantastic. Hazelnut, fantastic. Pecans, okay.
Not bad.
Cashews, terrible. Macadamia nuts, terrible. And they're expensive, forget about it. Okay? All these other ones are okay. All right? I'm not talking about almond butter. I'm talking about dry roasted, unsalted almonds. Okay? Almond butter has high cholesterol. Be careful. Be careful. I don't really recommend brands. I don't have brands up here because I don't want to promote brands. But if you want to eat a lower fat peanut butter, you either do two things. You go to Costco and get the Kirkland brand that has lower fat, or you get the thing that's in all stores now. It's new. It's powdered peanut butter, powdered. But it doesn't taste as good. You have to take multiple scoops in order to get the flavor. Okay? All right. Study. This is the DASH diet trial. Very good study. 3 groups. DASH diet group. High fruit and vegetable group. Okay, the difference between the high fruit and vegetable group versus the DASH diet group is that the high fruit and vegetable group, they had high total fat and saturated fat. Okay? They ate lepni. Okay? These guys ate lepni. These guys did not eat lepni. Okay? The control group, they ate whatever they wanted. Okay? All right. So here's the difference. This is the DASH diet. And as you can see, this is the control group. Miska, there's a big piece of meat here, hamburger, ham, there's lepni here, there's candies, all these candies, okay? So they compared these guys, these different groups. And they found that both the DASH diet and the high fruit and vegetable diet, even though these guys ate lepni, they reduced the 10-year risk of a heart attack or stroke score by about 10%. Okay? It sounds great, but to be honest, it was an absolute difference of about 2%, which is not that much. But it reduced the risk of having a heart attack or a stroke in 10 years. Pretty good, right? Not bad. All right? So, all right? So, DASH diet. DASH diet has also been shown to lower your cholesterol, lower your blood pressure. Okay. And here are examples. I told you I'd give you examples. What's 1 serving of fruit? An apple, half a cup of a fruit that's cut, a quarter cup of dry. Who likes apricots? Okay, mangoes, things like that. So a quarter cup of that stuff. A quarter cup of an orange juice. Okay. Vegetables. 1 cup of lettuce, half a cup of a bowl of salad, and a half a cup of carrot juice. So these are some examples for you, okay? Here's your milk, here's your almonds, handful I told you, and then here's your grains. So half a cup of cooked cereal like oatmeal, pasta, 1 slice of bread is 1 serving size, and then 1 ounce of dry cereal. Who likes cereal? You get some fiber from it, so it's not bad for you, okay? And then I put here, okay, who likes sweets, right? Who doesn't like sweets? So I put this here for Bubba, okay? 5 servings or fewer a week. 5 servings or fewer a week. So 1 tablespoon of sugar is a serving. 1 tablespoon of jelly is a serving. So 1 peanut butter sandwich, if you put 1 tablespoon, that's 1 serving. You can do 5 of those in a week. Okay? Huh? I don't have chocolate up here. I don't know. This is all evidence-based, so I don't know. I don't know. You know what? Chocolate has other benefits like antioxidant. If you eat chocolate, eat dark chocolate and low saturated fat chocolate. All right. Here we go. Let's say you have coronary artery disease. I'm not going to ask this question if you have it or not. It's a personal question. But remember I drew this picture? Let's say you have this stuff in your artery, okay? If you eat right or do something, will it go away? The answer is a bit. A bit. Okay? So, I'm going to come on this side. Fish oil. Who's heard of fish oil? Who's heard of EPA, DHA? No, this is very important. Okay, listen to me here. Not every fish oil is good for you. Not every fish oil is good for you. What is good for your heart is the EPA in the fish oil. The DHA is also beneficial for the brain, okay? Health, people think. I don't know the studies of it, so I can't quote any studies. But what will help your heart is what I'm talking about. And what will help your heart is the EPA, not the DHA, okay? The EPA, there's, a nice Japanese study that showed that 1.8 grams or 1,800 milligrams of EPA per day was effective at reducing this. Yeah, okay? But this is for people who have this already. If you don't know that you have this, you don't need to take this, okay? All right? Atorvastatin or other statins, rosuvastatin, pravastatin, and other medications to lower your cholesterol is effective at reducing this, okay? But your bad cholesterol should be less than 55. Okay? Ornish diet. This is a diet by somebody named Ornish. It was a veggie diet. It's a very difficult diet to follow. Very difficult. If I had a heart attack, maybe I'd follow it. But it's possibly effective at reducing this. DASH diet, probably ineffective. DASH diet is probably ineffective at reducing this. Exercise. 800 steps, right? So a study found that, 8,000. A study found that 7,000 steps a day is possibly effective. Possibly effective. Okay? Aged garlic. Who likes their sukhtor? Huh? I don't know. What is aged garlic? Do you know what that is? I don't know, but they're in pill form. So aged garlic of 2,400 milligrams a day is effective, possibly effective at reducing this. 2,400 milligrams daily of aged garlic. Okay? The purple, not effective. The blues, effective. Okay? However, this is a big however. There is no direct evidence that reducing this will prevent a heart attack. Okay? Just because you're taking this stuff doesn't mean that you're going to reduce the heart attack. Okay? But it will reduce this. However, we saw that exercise reduced death, right? And reduced cardiovascular death. Okay, so those are hard outcomes. So we like exercise. Okay. This is for the younger population here. Polar plunge. Polar plunge, have you done it? Jonathan, you've done it? Where? Oh. Huh. Friends who've done it. What is a polar plunge? Ice bath. Same thing as ice bath. Yeah, athletes do it. Yeah, ice bath. Yeah, you jump into a trash can of ice or a lake that's very cold. Okay. A lot of people, I had a patient, people ask me, is this good for me? Can I do it? It makes me feel great. No. I say no. From a heart perspective, I say no. Why? There is a risk of causing shock, okay, to your body, where you could drown because something happens to your respiratory drive where it goes down and you stop breathing and you drown. Okay? Very rare, but can happen. And it happens quickly. So if you do this, have someone next to you who's going to pull you out. Okay? All right? It's okay to do it. It's okay to do it. But if you have heart failure or heart disease or something, I wouldn't do it. If you're young, you want to try everything, you can do it, but have someone next to you, okay? No strong data to suggest that it is beneficial to your health. It may be harmful. However, Jonathan, this is for you. Dopamine and norepinephrine release goes up. Goes up. This has been proven. Dopamine goes up with cocaine. Dopamine goes up with Bubba hugging Yuffie. Dopamine goes up when, Noelle sees, a significant other, right? Okay? Dopamine is a happy thing. Okay? So these things go up. It makes you feel good. So what do I say? Just take a cold shower. Okay? If you want to feel good, just take a cold shower. And actually, it's recommended if you want to do a polar plunge, start with cold showers first to acclimate your body. Okay? Slowly acclimate your body. Turn the knob a little bit to cold, a little colder, okay? All right. I'm going to go through this quickly because I don't have much time. I did some research on these, okay? These are vitamins and things. I have patients ask me these questions all the time. That's why I'm bringing it up. Vitamin K2. This is very important. I'm not talking about every vitamin K. I'm talking about vitamin K2, also called M7. M7. M as in Mary. M7. Because it's very important. Other vitamin Ks might not be good for you. Okay? If you take 100 micrograms of this a day, it's possibly effective in reducing calcium in your blood vessels. Okay? Possibly effective. Possibly effective. Okay? Meaning that if you are a diabetic or if you are someone on dialysis and you have a high risk for calcium in your blood vessels, I probably would recommend taking it. Just try it. It's not going to harm you. Okay. What about hawthorn berry? Anybody heard of hawthorn berry? It's a rose. It's kind of a rose bush. Okay? Don't do it. Okay? A lot of my patients like it. There's no great evidence. There's actually evidence that it can increase your risk of heart failure. But then there's also other evidence that says that it'll reduce your risk of heart failure because it's actually an inotrope. So, but, hawthorn berry, there's no great evidence to say take it. Okay? Turmeric. Who likes turmeric? Turmeric, 700 milligrams twice a day. Probably effective in reducing triglyceride level. It's also very good anti-inflammatory for joints, right? I'm not a joint doctor. I don't talk about joints. I talk about the heart, so I'm talking about the heart. If you want, I can talk about joints off. Huh? That's correct. That's correct. And some studies even show the bad cholesterol goes down too. But I didn't put that up there because not all the studies show that. But all the studies show the triglyceride level goes down. Pomegranate. You don't have it? Okay. 500 milligrams or 330 mLs a day of pomegranate is effective to reduce your blood pressure. So you know what I tell my patients who don't want to take medications? I tell them, if you want, go the expensive route, get the pure pomegranate and drink it. 330 mLs a day.
That's how many cups is that?
I don't know. Figure it out. Okay? Coenzyme Q10. Who's heard of CoQ10? CoQ10, 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 CoQ10. Okay? 400 milligrams a day for a few weeks, like, about a month. It's possibly effective to reduce muscle pain if you're on a cholesterol-lowering medication called a statin. But the way you do it is you stop the statin first, you take the CoQ10 for about a month, and then you go back on the statin. Okay? Garlic. 2,400 milligrams a day lowers your blood pressure and maybe some plaque regression. I say maybe because what it does is it actually prevents the worsening of the plaque. Okay? Predominantly. All right. I put this website up because if you use this website, put in any supplement you want in here. Anything. Anything you want. Pomegranate, garlic, I don't know, what is it, whatever, black cohosh, whatever. Beets, put it here. You'll find the data on it, okay? Look, garlic, it gives you all this data, these articles to go through. You read the articles. It's fantastic. Okay? Is coffee bad for my heart?
Yes.
I'm going to go through this quickly. If it reduces your risk of heart failure. Okay? This is the graph. If you drink more than 3 cups a day or 2 cups a day, your heart failure risk went down. Wait a minute. The study wasn't that good, but that's okay.
Sorry.
Wait a minute.
Black coffee. Not with sugars and things like that.
Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Hold on. Wait a minute. What? But more than 5 cups of filtered coffee. Where's filtered coffee? Your coffee connoisseur. Filtered coffee, right? No. Filtered coffee, okay? Unfiltered coffee is worse, okay? Correct. No, it's okay. It's okay. But you need to drink less of it, okay? Like up to 4 cups is okay of the it's Haygan coffee, Armenian coffee. Up to 4 cups is okay, which is a lot, right? But don't do any more than that, okay? But this is the caveat. Your blood pressure needs to be less than 160, the top number. If it's more than 160, coffee may be bad for you. Okay, should I buy a wearable device? This is actually very interesting, okay? So this is really cool. They just came out with this. $130 at Best Buy. I actually promote this. I have no stock in them. But this gives you a 6-lead EKG, which is better than the Apple, better than anything. Okay? And all you do is you put your thumbs on it. I think it's about, I said $130, right? So anywhere between $130 to $200. But if you're someone who has a reason to check your EKG often, like you have AFib or something, this is for you. Okay? I highly recommend it. This is what I have. I have this. I'm a doctor, so if someone says, Pamagalagor, can you check me out? I can say, oh yeah, I'll pull it out, I give it to you. And it fits in your wallet. Look how small it is. It's very thin. Okay? It fits in your wallet. And then you just put it on. And I'm a cardiologist, so I can interpret it. But if you are not a cardiologist, you need to pay for that for them to interpret it. Okay? If you want me to interpret it, you pay me to interpret it. Okay? This is cool for the youngins, okay? Apple Watch can get an EKG, right? But Apple Watch costs $400. Well, you said version 4 or more. 4 or more only. 4 or more. This thing is, I've never heard of it before. What is it called? Whitings. Okay? It can check your EKG, your heart rate, and your oxygen saturation, and it's much less expensive. Okay? And however, it's not FDA approved. This is a ring. Checks your heart rate, your oxygen saturation, your exercise intensity. Semigamo, if you want to know your exercise intensity, moderate or high. And the Apple Watch shows all these things. So these are all FDA approved, these two. Okay? This is FDA approved, the Apple Watch. Okay? These two are not FDA approved. Okay? So it may or may not be reliable. Okay? This is also great. Who has a flexible spending account? We do. You can use it towards these. And you can even use it towards this. Okay? All right, and this too. All right, that's the end of my talk. So, should I take low-dose aspirin? No, if you're more than 70 and you don't have any coronary artery disease. Should I exercise? Yes. How many steps? 8,000. If I eat healthy, is that good for my heart? Yes. Dash diet. Just eat a Middle Eastern diet. Probably good enough. If I have coronary artery disease, can I reverse it? Well, partially. Fish oil, statin, exercise, diet, garlic, cold water. I don't like it. Just take a shower. Vitamin K2, good. Hawthorn, I don't like it. Maybe okay. Turmeric, I love it. Pomegranate, I love it. CoQ10, maybe. Garlic, love it, right? Coffee, it's okay up to 4 cups. Okay? Okay? Wait a minute. If your blood pressure is normal. And also, if you have AFib, I highly recommend not drinking up to 4 cups. I'd actually recommend drinking decaf coffee. Should I get a wearable device? Well, if you have a reason to, if you have AFib or if you have palpitations and you want to see what's going on, do it. Less expensive than, driving to the doctor, this and that, And so if you do that, you can also use your flexible spending account to do that, You don't have to pay. It goes out from your account. That's it. All right. We have -3 minutes.
Quick question regarding the troponin, where whenever they're running and the troponin gets,
Yeah.
At that time, if they check the troponin level by blood, is it going to be? I know it should be low, but is it going to be low or high?
If you exercise? Huh?
With the blood test results.
If you exercise. When?
Whenever running, marathon.
Yeah, it's going to be high. However, and also they've done very good studies. They did MRIs of people's hearts. You know what they did? They said, you go run on a treadmill, a marathon. They checked their blood. They did an MRI. They also took marathon runners and they said, come here. Let's go check your blood. Let's go do an MRI. If they do an MRI within 1 week, if they check your troponins within 24 hours, it's elevated.
But isn't it false positive for
It's not false positive.
No?
It's not false positive. It's elevated because your heart muscle does not have enough oxygen at some times when you're exercising. It's not a heart attack. No, it can be in a heart attack range. Yeah. But there's no permanent damage. It's reversible. Okay? There's no permanent damage. Right.
You probably did answer it, but to clarify, if you walk 10 miles or jog or running, which is it the same thing?
If you walk 10 miles, I'm just telling the face, if you walk 10 miles or if you run 10 miles, is it the same thing?
Yeah.
No.
Jogging
Running is better.
Oh, is it?
Running is better.
For your knee.
However, if you can't do it, walk.
Right.
Walking is good, but running is better. Yeah. Yeah.
Dr. Ehrlich, you mentioned K2, 100 micrograms. I've heard that you have to take mega K2 in order to affect the calcium to get out of the arteries. So maybe 45 milligram or so. What do you think?
Well, it depends. So I've seen studies that showed as low as 100. I put 100 because as low as 100 can reduce calcium in your blood vessels. However, it's most effective in people who are at high risk of calcium, like dialysis patients and diabetics. If you're not a diabetic and you're not on dialysis, I don't know if it's going to help you. I don't know. The studies are ongoing. Okay, we'll know in a couple of years. Yeah.
Another question.
Yeah.
CoQ10, they say that you have to add to it PPQ. What do you think about that?
I don't know what PPQ is. What is PPQ?
Another sort of vitamin.
No, all the studies that I looked at, they didn't need to use PPQ. They just had CoQ10. Yeah, and even you can even go on the American College of Cardiology website. They don't say anything about PPQ. They just say
There's
CoQ10.
articles saying that taking only by CoQ10 by itself is no good. They added PPQ on it. So I'm not sure.
Send it to me, because I didn't read anything that you need to take PPQ. Yeah. I don't even know what is PPQ.
I don't have the.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know of that, but I know that, and the evidence isn't that great. It's okay, It's worth a try. It's not going to harm you. It's worth a try. If you've had a heart attack and you need to take a statin and you have muscle pains, you take that for 4 weeks. You stop the statin first. You take it for 4 weeks, okay? And then you go back on the statin, and that's it. Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so here you're saying 160 the blood pressure.
Yeah.
When it's, for me, if it's 160, I'm already sick. I have headaches, my neck is hurting,
Yeah.
I don't feel good at all. I feel like I'm gonna have a stroke or something.
Yeah.
So is that normal rate, 160?
No.
No. Okay. But you're saying as long as your blood pressure is under 160.
Yeah, because that's what the studies have shown. Yeah. I'm just giving you evidence-based, whatever I've seen in the literature. If your blood pressure is more than 160, it's harmful. If it's less than 160, it's okay.
What about the heart? 160 over what?
They didn't give a bottom number.
Okay.
No.
Okay. How about if you, how to avoid, if you have the clogging, how can you tell that you have it? Is there like a
Yeah, that's a different question for, I can give a lecture on that. But the short answer is there is a way to figure that out.
Okay.
And it's very easy.
Blood work or scan?
No, it's scans. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
The problem is that I don't talk about these kind of things, because then you're going to go to your doctors and say, give me the scan. And I don't recommend that, because our country already spends so much money on healthcare. We don't need everybody going to their doctors and saying, well, I want this scan, I want this scan. Because let's say there is a blockage. What are you going to do?
Yeah. Well, my scan showed me that there's clogging in my neck.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, if there's clogging in your neck, okay, then, you're at risk for having a stroke, but not to the point where you need surgery, everybody gets clogging. Everybody has that, a little to some extent, as they age. But, you can talk to your doctor about either if your cholesterol is high, or reduce your cholesterol. Usually the ideal cholesterol is less than 70. Some studies have shown less than 55, okay? But, anywhere in that range is going to be beneficial to prevent the progression of it. Eat garlic, prevent progression of it.
I don't eat leptin.
Don't eat leptin. Yeah. But, as far as aspirin for that, you could consider it, but there's no good evidence to say if you take it, it's going to prevent you from having a bad event. So I can't recommend it.
Yeah.
But if you feel calmer taking it, then take it. But you have to also weigh the benefits and risks of bleeding and things with aspirin.
Yeah.
No?
Thank you.
Yeah.
What about vitamin D?
Vitamin D? Vitamin D. Vitamin D has a lot of benefits, okay? But you don't want to take too much. Usually you want it to be, above 40 vitamin D level. So just have your doctor check your vitamin D level. Yeah. And if you need it, take it. If you don't need it, don't take it.
Dr. Alec, are you going to stick around?
Yeah, we'll do questions later.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we'll do some more later. We're going to start English service now. So we're going to end here. So let's thank Dr. Alec again.
Yes.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you all for coming. Thank you for attending our second. Go to our workshop website. Next month, we'll be having Vivian with us. Information they'll be giving to us. So thank you again.
You're welcome.
And see y'all hopefully next door. Come on over if you want.
Get snacks.
Oh yeah, grab snacks.